Jai RangFraa. RangFraism, its system of worship and prayer. Chapter 1. The gist of RangFraism. To be in RangFraa Dharma is to respect, obey, and follow the laws of RangFraa. Though the laws of RangFraa are countless, we can broadly categorize them into two types, internal and external. The laws of nature constitute the external laws of RangFraa, while the laws of the divinity within, that is, the divine laws of morality, constitute the internal laws for which people generally refer to as religion. Religion and Dharma are very often used as synonymous terms, but in deeper understanding they are quite different. The system of worship and prayer, the religious scripture and its doctrines and preachings, symbol of worship, mythology, and the place of worship like church or temple, etc., constitute the religion. Religion can lead to salvation, that is, liberation from sin, but not complete liberation. Unless one takes the external laws of RangFraa into account, there is no chance for complete liberation. By complete liberation, we do not mean liberation only from sin, but also from fear, sorrows, and sufferings, etc. RangFraism takes both aspects of laws into account, hence it is complete in itself. The metaphysics of RangFraism is all about its external laws or the truths of nature. Existence, truth, and knowledge are the contents of metaphysics. God is the existence of all existence, the ultimate truth, and the source of all knowledge. And these three dimensions, i.e., that is, existence, truth, and knowledge are dealt under the metaphysics of RangFraism. Therefore, the religion without metaphysics has to take the help of faith as a weapon to go ahead, whereas in case of RangFraism, the metaphysics is the weapon that helps us to enter into the life eternity by penetrating through the eternal gap, i.e., the gap between man and God. RangFraism advocates complete surrender of one's self to the disposal of RangFraa, that is, to take refuge in him or to obey his laws within and without. Our behavior not in accordance with his divine laws is the cause of our fear, sorrow, and suffering. According to RangFraism, there are 5 fundamental cosmic elements or substance in nature. They are matter, energy, space, time, and the law unifying them. Since the varieties we find in this universe are the manifestations of these 5 elements in different modes and patterns, on the same line we have the logic to think further that these 5 elements must also have still another subtler substance of common origin, for which the RangFraists call primeval substance, or the substance of all substances, which is believed to be all-transcending and all-pervading in nature. It is also called all-pervading pure consciousness, and in fact this is the God or RangFraa itself in its timeless infinity. It is to be noted that God need not necessarily be in human form. The universe is governed by 3 fundamental laws, namely the law of creation, or more precisely, manifestation, the law of sustenance, and the law of dissolution, for which we can also refer to as Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh respectively. It is a matter of simple logic that nothing can be created out of nothing. Therefore, the laws of manifestation, sustenance, and dissolution have to work in a cyclic manner, for which the RangFraists call wheel of time or celestial wheel. This wheel in reality is nothing but RangFraa himself or itself. Here it is to be noted that time is the immediate objectively phenomenal aspect or manifestation of RangFraa itself. Therefore, in case of living creature, i.e., that is, man and animal, the same wheel is called as celestial wheel. This celestial wheel is one and the same for all human beings, for which the RangFraists refer to as soul or Fara, which is beyond time and space. Manifestation in general understanding is to enter into time from timeless infinity, that is, to come into the grip of this wheel of time or celestial wheel, and the modes and patterns of its arrest are as per the desired unifying law. According to which unifying law, the cosmic elements are to be caught up into the grip of this wheel of time depends on the law of divine justification or divine will, which is known to God alone. Man will never be able to understand the law of divine justification, hence the gap in between man and God will remain eternal. This gap is popularly known as eternal gap in RangFraism. We cannot ask as to why some are manifested in human form while others in animal or inanimate form, nor can we ask as to why the average lifespan of some creature lasts only for a few days while for some other creature lasts for many years. Asking such question would be just like asking as to why some pieces of mud thrown on our shirts out of a slipped wheel of a car are dot-like and others elongated. Here, one important point to be noted is that it is this unifying law that differs from existence to existent, which is responsible for varieties we find in nature. The unifying laws actuating principles are as many as the types of existence to be found in this universe. Any existent, once entered into the law of manifestation, has to undergo another two phases of life, that is the phase of sustenance and dissolution. Whatever has already been released from the grip of this wheel represents the past, which are still under arrest constitutes the present. Similarly, yet to be arrested represents the future. One rotation of this wheel makes one complete life cycle. Time taken for completion of one life cycle differs from existent to existent. For example, one life cycle of mosquitoes completes in 7 days, and in case of man approximately 100 years, and in case of banyan tree 5,000 years, whereas in case of the universe it requires billions of years to complete one life cycle. Creation, more precisely evolution or manifestation of this universe, did not take place in a couple of days or weeks but took millions of years. It is not understood as to at which point of evolution the first man, Homo sapiens, appeared on earth. It is also beyond our knowledge as to whether man had language from the very beginning of his evolution or learned to speak at a later stage. So far religion or Dharma is concerned, the RangFraists hold that it came into existence as early as the language, word itself, because the religion, more precisely Dharma, is a matter of concerning the words like ngare, immoral or sin, and kechu, moral or saintliness, etc. If these two words vanish, the Dharma will also vanish along with them. Ngari and kechu are the qualities of our action. Two types of moral codes of conduct are recognized in RangFraism. They are divine codes of moral conduct or divine principles of morality, and social codes of moral conduct. The former is universal and eternal in character, while the latter differs from society to society. On the event of contradiction between them, the latter needs to be rectified. Any action in discord with these two principles of morality is sinful. In RangFraism, there are 10 doctrines or divine principles of morality, which are based on freedom of will and sense of moral obligation. RangFraa Dharma has two aspects, active and passive. The 4 doctrines arising out of freedom of will constitute the passive aspect, that is the state of being harmless, while the other 6 doctrines arising out of sense of moral obligations constitute its active aspects, that is service and sacrifice. In RangFraism, there are 2 stages of subjective perfection in the journey of spiritual life: kechuhood, moral perfection, and fraahood, spiritual perfection. Kechuhood is a resting place on the midway of the spiritual journey, while attainment of fraahood is the goal of RangFraism, but one can strive for it only after attainment of kechuhood. For attaining fraahood, one has to transcend both religion and morality altogether. But before we enter into this subject, it is a must to understand the proper concept of man, nature, God, and their relations. As mentioned earlier, the varieties we find in nature are but the manifestation of the 5 fundamental cosmic elements in various modes and designs. In other words, these 5 elements are the actual content of the nature, while God is purely of celestial substance, which is not only beyond name and form but also beyond time and space. It is the nature or the manifested which is within time and space. Here, the celestial should not be confused with the space. They are quite two different things. Space means state of being empty, whereas the celestial means the all-pervading substance itself. In reality, there is no space as such. Space is only in concept without content. Hence, the existence of space is all phenomenal. Man is the interplay of nature and God. That is the combination of earth and celestial substance. Therefore, since time immemorial, the RangFraites have been holding the nature or earth as their mother and the Rang or RangFraa, the celestial, as their father. Conception of a child is nothing but the fusion of these two elements according to a particular unifying law responsible for the manifestation of man, while the reverse, that is, splitting of these two elements in accordance with the law of dissolution, is what we call death. Earthly component of man is his body, while that of celestial is his soul. Mind or consciousness, on the other hand, is the third dimension that we find in man. It is the very extension of soul, celestial itself, just as heat is the extension of flame. Mind is the flow of celestial itself, but in lower frequency, just as the inaudible sound wave transmitted in the air, when lowers down through certain mechanisms, say radio, it becomes audible. Weakening or lowering in frequency of the soul force is due to its mechanism or medium of flow, that is, the senses. The mind arises when the celestial energy that flows outward through our five senses encounters the energy that comes from the surrounding nature. It is only through this medium, mind, subjective perfection of man, be it moral or spiritual, can be attained. Here, it is to be borne in mind that mind is simply a process of flow of celestial energy, hence the existence of mind is all phenomenal. Since man is basically made up of the above two elements, that is, the earth and celestial, the energy that operates in his life is also of two types, namely the material energy and celestial energy. Our body, being part and parcel of nature, has a strong attraction towards the objects of nature. This attraction is nothing but a flow of material energy from our body towards the objects of nature, for which we call desire. Stronger the attraction, more intense is the desire, and this has arisen due to the fact that our body always feels unfulfilled and incomplete because it is ever changing, that is, fleeting and phenomenal. Again, this very sense of unfulfillment or incompleteness is expressed as desire. Therefore, desire is always to take, to acquire, to fulfill, and to possess, while the celestial energy that flows from the soul is in the form of will, is always to offer, to help, to serve, to sacrifice, and to renounce, etc. Because the soul in us is the God itself in finite form, which is full and complete in itself from every respect. The sum total of these two forces of energy, that is, desire and will, is however equal for all human beings, but the ratio of these two varies from individual to individual. More intense is the flow of celestial energy in our consciousness or mind, the brighter is our existence. Therefore, what we do in religion is to train the mind to allow only the celestial energy to flow as much intense as possible. If the flow of material energy in us is more dominant, that is, if we become the slaves of our desires, our existence will be no less good than that of animals. This does not, however, mean that desire is not necessary. Without desire, there cannot be any material progress. Desire is the driving force in man that swings him into action. In fact, the necessity of religion arose only because of this desire. Desire is good only insofar as when one fulfills it without harming others. Here, it is very important for the readers to note that desire and will forces are not only two different things but also opposite polarity of the same force, that is, celestial. Just as hot and cold are not two different things but opposite polarity of the same thing, that is, temperature. Desire is the degraded form of will, and degradation has been due to the influence of material body. That's why we say for desire to be the flow of material energy. Otherwise, its origin is also the soul itself. Had there been any flow of material energy, every material object would have desires. In RangFraism, there are 10 divine codes of moral conduct, according to which one ought to regulate one's desire force. The one who strives for Kechuhood, that is moral perfection, tries to regulate his biological urge or desires force in accordance with the moral codes of conduct, both divine and social, just as we regulate the force of water coming in a pipe through a stopped cork, according to our need. He who succeeds in this striving is said to have attained Kechuhood. The person who attained Kechuhood is called Kechu Ayong or Mung Kechu, morally perfect. Mung Kechu or Ming Kechu is the point where the desire force is in perfect harmony or completely in accordance with the principles of morality. That's why we say that Ming Kechu is the embodiment of religion and morality. He is the man of sinlessness, hence he can be said to have attained salvation. To attain Kechuhood or to become Mung Kechu, neither one has the necessity to lead an ascetic life, nor has any need to renounce the world, whereas in case of Frahood, one has to renounce the world along with family. Frahood cannot be attained without complete cessation of desires. The one who attains Frahood is called Fra Ajong or simply Fra. The title like Ranghop Lungwang may also be given to Fra, in whom complete cessation of desires has already taken place. The moral code of conduct, be it divine or social, carries no meaning for him, because code of conduct is required only to regulate the material force or the desires in us. The one who has attained Frahood is completely under the influence of celestial energy. Such person is completely free from attachment, not only towards the worldly objects but also towards his family members. Really, he belongs to no family or race, for the entire humanity is his family. He belongs to no religion, for he had already transcended the religion. He himself is the religion. He is the embodiment of virtue, love, compassion, service, sacrifice, wisdom, and ideas, etc. Either he has no wealth or the wealth of the entire world belongs to him. He is in this world yet has no connection with this world. He is absolutely free from fear, tension, worry, anger, passion, greed, and ego, etc. He is beyond pain and pleasure, suffering and sorrow. He has no craving for name and fame. He does not crave even for his